Hey, get inspired, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Life Inspired. If this is your first time watching, we are telling inspiring stories of why and how people are following God and how God stepped in and turned them into a new inspired path. And so if you're watching on YouTube, please share us from YouTube, subscribe to our channel. We're trying to up our YouTube followers. And also, if you're watching on Facebook, please like our Facebook page, share it. You can share it right now while you're watching, so we'd love that. And today's guest, I'm so excited to introduce, is Kim Becker.
Hi.
Thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so this is your second time on
It is.
the program. And when we were having coffee kind of early last fall, I feel like we were like, oh, Kim, you need to come on again and tell more because you're doing new things with Hello Gorgeous. And then you had a whole story that happened after that. So I don't know what you're going to talk about. Are you going to, so tell us like what, I don't even remember what we were talking about, why we thought you needed to come back on in the first place. But then
part of it I think is that, so the last time I was here, I think I was maybe 4 months out after Michael passed away.
Oh, was it that short?
I think it was
Michael
really
passed?
early.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was really early.
Okay.
And so that was part of the reason, was just to be able to tell that story and that we're still going.
Right,
That
right.
we're still
That
we're
Hello
still
Gorgeous
here.
was still Hello Gorgeous and still doing great things
Yes.
for cancer patients. Yep.
Yes. And, for me, I think the one thing that I would say, if somebody would say, what was the biggest, reason that you hit that success or that you're still here, it's, they have an old adage, just how do you eat an elephant? And it's one bite at a time.
Right.
And so when Mike passed away, we just had a two-prong approach. And that was to make sure that Sethi had a stellar high school career and that I was able to keep Hello Gorgeous going. Those were my two goals.
Right.
So now being 2.5 years out from his passing,
Right.
and Seth is now a junior in high school, which I can't believe. And the organization is phenomenal, and it's just grown by leaps and bounds. We had a big retreat over the weekend, and Trisha came up with it last year. We had a realization that so much of what we did was just the makeovers for the women battling
Right.
cancer.
Right.
But now it's like this whole plethora of things. There's so many things under the Hello Gorgeous umbrella between the
Right.
books and the online courses and so many of those things. So
And I don't think you had the books before
we did.
Michael passed. Oh,
We
you
did have
Okay.
the books. He helped me write them. Thank goodness. He was an English minor, and I was so grateful for that because I
That's
couldn't have done it
awesome.
without him.
Sure.
But just so many more facets to what we do to be able to make a much larger impact
Right.
on women battling cancer.
Right. So when we were having coffee, I gave you Draw the Circle.
You did
And
give me
you
Draw
were
the
gonna-
Circle.
You were going to pray about something for 40 days.
Yes.
And you started praying for that something for 40 days. And then you got a diagnosis. Are
I
we
did.
talking about that at all?
I did. So what happened was I was in the seat of many of the women that we serve.
Right.
And so I had a screening. The insurance company that I have offered just a free health screening, and I went and did the health screening, and with that came one of the kits where you do I think it's just like a colon kind of, it's not an exam, but you take a specimen and send it in.
Right.
And I did it. Healthy as can be.
Yeah. No clue.
No, I'm not on any medications. I'm just one of the healthiest people that you can get. And so I did that, sent it in, didn't think anything about it. And they called me and they're like, yeah, your sample came back positive. And I'm like, it came back positive? Yeah, what does that mean? And they're like, well, you just need to follow up with your doctor. And I'm like, okay. So I really needed a colonoscopy when I was 50, but life happened when I was 50.
Right.
And so that wasn't a priority at that point in time. So I thought, oh, okay, we'll need that. Again, not thinking anything. I'm healthy. There's nothing going on. And so I went in, had the colonoscopy done. And when I was in there, they found a mass. And so it's not considered a colon cancer, but it was a very slow growing type of cancer. And so I had to go in for surgery and have 14 inches of my colon removed. And they took 21 lymph nodes and 4 were affected.
Wow.
It just has completely changed my perspective because I was now standing in the shoes of the women that I serve on a regular basis.
Right.
And for me, what was, years ago, I remember, Michael had been so sick, and so we had gotten devastating diagnoses, and they shared the information with us, and it was always that you got a call and you went into the doctor's office and they sat you down and they were very empathetic. I was literally in the frozen food section at Martin's when the doctor called and said, yeah, it's cancer. And I'm like, excuse me? And he's like, yeah, you need to follow up. If you were going to get it, this is the good kind to get. And I'm like, I deal with women. There is no good kind of cancer to get. And so that was really very different.
And just called you on your cell phone. They don't have a clue where you are, what you're doing.
Or that I was by myself.
Right.
And so then I literally waited like 12 or 13. I didn't tell anybody. And so this
Not even Trisha.
No, I didn't even tell her. Not till later that night. But what was very interesting to me, when you talk about the way God works, this was always my fear, because I was Michael's caregiver for 20 years.
Right.
And then I cared for him until the very end. And so then my fear was, well, who's going to take care of me? If something were to ever happen to me, who is going to be that person? Or how am I going to get through this and not be by myself? And it was incredible. Trisha, my youngest sister, has, gone to every single appointment with me. We stayed with my mom. I'm grateful that my mom is young enough that we were able to hang out at her house, and she was phenomenal. And I didn't want Seth, and being a single parent, then that was the toughest thing too, is how do I tell him? How do I tell him, oh yeah, by the way, the only parent you have left has been diagnosed with cancer?
Right.
And so, we sat down, we had a conversation. So the first thing we told him was we were just having surgery. We didn't tell him anything else was going on. Not right away, because we were waiting, and, they were speculating and they thought it was, but they weren't for sure. And I thought, until they get in there, I'm not gonna say anything.
Right.
We're just gonna kind of let it go. And then when it was, there's no sense in getting him geeked up about something when you don't have all the information.
For sure. Absolutely.
So once we found out, we went back to the doctor. Yep, this is what it was. We took 14 inches out. We're pretty sure we got it all. We still want you to follow up with an oncologist and somebody just to kind of keep a good eye on you. There wasn't any sense in telling him that information until that time. So, one of the things, it's tough, right? And I think part of it is that when you follow God, especially with the calling that we've taken on, not everybody, but I expected that I would be protected from everything else.
Oh, wow. Did you really?
Yes.
Interesting.
So, 2017 in April, we lost the bus to a fire.
Right.
In 2017, we lost Michael, one of the founders. And so I'm like, okay, I paid my dues. I should be skating home free from now until my time comes, until I leave this earth. And so for me then to get this, so I really had to take a step back, and instead of asking why, the question I ask is, okay, God, what am I supposed to learn from this?
Right.
Because there must be something that I need to learn from this. There must be something. And so to be in this place where all of these women are at, to now sit opposite the doctor that I hear so many times about, to be that person sitting there, it's changed. I'm so much better at my job.
Of course, right.
And even though I, didn't have to go through any of the chemotherapy or the radiation, and they got it all, and even though I don't have to do any of that, it's still that fear, that daunting, is it there? Is it going to come back? Is it, all of those questions that you ask, which I would have never asked before.
Right.
Yeah. So it's been interesting.
I kind of feel like because of what you do, you put a bullseye target on your chest for the enemy to shoot his flaming arrows and try and knock you out of your seat, because you're battling this, this tragedy that affects so many families. It's not just the one that's the patient. You're trying to help the patient, and you're now trying to help all of their family members. I know that's part of your ministry now.
That's right.
And so, the enemy doesn't want you helping people.
That's right.
So he's going to try and shoot arrows at you and knock you out. And so,
Well, it's interesting, when we were at our retreat over the weekend, and I was telling the team, we've got some really big things coming up.
I can't wait for you to tell some of that. But anyway.
And so some of it I can tell, some of it I can't.
Okay.
But so when we were at our retreat this weekend, what I said to the team, it really is true. It's new level, new devil. Every time you go up a level, then you're always going to get struck.
You texted me that.
That's right. New level, new devil. And so what I have done, so we, as I said, we came from our retreat. And so, and actually yesterday I did a Facebook Live about one of the things that we do is we pick a word for the year.
Right.
And so whatever that word is, that's kind of your theme. That's what motivates you. And so last year my word was intentional. I really wanted to be intentional with my time and with my talent and who I spent time with.
Okay.
And so this year my word is pray.
No kidding.
And it's just to pray. And so the weekend of our retreat, before everybody else got there, that's all I did. Given the circle maker, I circled the room. And that's all I did was pray, just to put a bubble of protection around us. So yesterday, everybody left the office, and I did the same thing, just a bubble of protection around us, And so that's my job as the leader of this organization, is to make sure that I keep us protected.
That's your pride. Yeah, for sure. So, all right. So I just want to talk to our viewers for just a minute, because you need prayed for. So if you guys know anybody with cancer, you know anything about Hello Gorgeous and what they do. Hello Gorgeous is an organization. We're going to have links here that you can look at, and they help cancer victims, and they help the families of cancer victims get through it. And Kim and all of her Hello Gorgeous team are making a huge impact. And so, so we need prayer. So if you're interested in being a prayer warrior from, you can just take that on yourself. If you want to message us because you want to do that with Hello Gorgeous, do message us here. We'll get you in contact with Kim, so you can maybe ask, what are some prayer requests, stuff like that. So, all right. So you had retreats.
We did.
What can you share and tell us that Hello Gorgeous is doing?
So one of the things that I can tell you, only bits and pieces of it, but so I'm very excited that we are going to start developing a documentary on Michael.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you could say, because I didn't know if you were going to be
I can tell that. I can't tell the other part, but I can tell that part.
But you can tell that part.
Yeah, and so we years ago, we attempted to get a television show going.
Right.
And so we had a film crew come out, and we did a huge makeover and did a reveal in front of 10,000 people at Notre Dame, and it was phenomenal. And it just wasn't the time, and the way that they wanted the television show to go, I wouldn't allow it, because it was basically following us around with cameras.
Right.
And Mike was sick at that time, and so I really didn't want him to be perceived that way as the guy. And they're like, we need to come in the hospital room, but we need to do that. I'm like, you're not doing it. I'm not having it done.
Right.
So fast forward, 6 years, and Mike's passed away, and so this crew has reached out to me again, and they said it's really been on our heart. We want to do a documentary on Mike, and we want to call it Mr. Gorgeous.
I love it. I didn't know
So, yeah, so it would talk about like his life and him following this calling and the legacy that he continues to leave behind. And so I'm very excited they'll be here, and anybody that wants to get involved with this. So March the 6th is Michael's birthday. And so we do random acts of kindness all that day in honor of him.
Right.
So we have little cards, and when it comes closer to the time, we'll have them available on our website, where you can just download them, and you do just special things. And as you do these special things, you hand a person this card that's got like a caricature of Mike on it, and it says you're receiving this random act of kindness in honor of a gentleman that would have been, he would be 59 this year. And so they're going to be here that day and film us as we go around town and we commit these random acts of kindness. So if anybody wants to get involved and you've got a really cool random act of kindness, the film crew would be willing to come and do whatever it is that, that if you have something. So we had kind of a neat thing last year. Somebody had gone through Chick-fil-A, and the car in front of them, a guy said he, placed his normal order for he and his coworkers, and somebody in front of him had paid for his meal. And then when he got up to the window, they said, "You're taken care of," and they handed him one of the cards. And so he took a picture of the card. I still don't know who the gentleman is, but he took a picture of the card and he posted it on Facebook and just said, told the story about how he went along his day. And he said, "I don't know who you are, Mr. Becker, but you must have been pretty special for your friends and family to celebrate you in this way."
That's so awesome. Okay, so that's the next thing, you guys.
Yeah.
If you want to be a volunteer. So you guys,
they can commit their own random acts of kindness all day long, and we really want to start a movement just in honor of of
So
Mike.
if you want the cards, messages here, we'll get you some of the cards, or you could call Hello Gorgeous directly.
Yep.
So we'll put the phone number in the links and stuff like that, so you can call Hello Gorgeous and find out. So awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, we're really excited. I'm excited, like I said, to honor him. He was such a gentle giant. That and his impact is, we have so many affiliates now that when we talk to them, and what they'll say is, "I really wish I could have met him." And I thought we are doing a really good job of keeping his legacy alive and talk about him so much when we go out and train these affiliates, that they all wish that they would have met him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
That's so exciting. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And I do always like to ask, how do you stay inspired daily? Because everybody connects differently. So the way you connect with God is as different as your retinal scan, your DNA, your fingerprint, whatever. So what do you do to stay inspired? How do you stay inspired?
This year is kind of a new year, a new perspective of things, and I really just want to go out and be the best person for God that I can be. I think he's put some amazing qualities in me, and I think just as a human being, you tamp them down. So in my bedroom, I have a whiteboard. I know that's not normal, but I do. And on that board are all these I am statements. And one of them is, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Awesome. And so I go through these I am statements, and the way that I stay inspired daily is just that, asking God, what is it that I can do to be the best version of myself today?
Awesome. Very cool. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to YouTube, share us on Facebook, like our Facebook, all that good stuff. Thanks, you guys. Have a great week. Bye-bye.